Welcome to the Fertility Mind podcast. I am your host, Jessica Friesen, a certified fertility mindset coach, a sound healer, and an international best-selling author. My mission for this podcast is to give you weekly episodes where you hear my own success with IVF and how mindset and manifestation changed it all for me. You will also hear from my guests who share their success stories in the fertility world. I want you to know that you are not alone. Even when things feel tough and when things feel like they aren't going your way, the tools and techniques you will get in this podcast, I know can change everything for you too. So thanks for being here with me today, and let's dive in. Hello and welcome back. I want to talk about visualization today. Visualization is the third component, and this is the one that gives you like your grand movie, if you will. So the first component is your desire. Your second component is your imagination. The third component is visualization. And that's how you create your life that you really want. So when I say this, I want to talk to you about protecting your vibration or protecting your energy, if you will, while you're doing your visualization. And I want to make sure that it's limitless versus limited. So let's do a quick recap. You've already connected to your desire. You know your desire. And for the purpose of this episode, we're going to talk about your family. You know more than anyone how you desire to have your family. And you know what you would be willing to do to have this family. And your imagination is your creative side. This is where you get to design your life. This is where you do not live in your physical 3D world. This is where you get to say, I would love to have, a certain like XYZ dollars in my bank account. I would love to have this dream home, this dream car, this dream job. This is what I want my life day in and day out to look like. And you get to design it. You get to be as creative as you will allow your mind to be. And the more you tap into that side of things, it will, number one, it will start to come faster and faster and faster. And you'll start like adding more things because it's just exciting. And then the third component is actually visualizing everything coming together. So here's a quick little thing for you. You want to have a baby. So visualize yourself. You can start to visualize yourself, doing your fertility treatments and then going to your first ultrasound appointment, then your second ultrasound appointment. And you get to feel the feelings of, if you choose to do a baby announcement or how you tell your family or friends or coworkers. You get to create how you want to do this, but you get to see what your life looks like. You get to start feeling it, start seeing it. And this part is my favorite part, but it was also one of the most challenging parts. So I'll get to that part in a minute, but I want to talk to you about really protecting your energy. So if you're connecting to a visualization simply because you're checking off a to-do list, you are either neutral or in a low vibration, and you won't connect to that frequency where everything exists, and you're not on a high enough vibration that you're omitting, something great from it. It's just, yep, okay, I got to do this, so I'll do it. And if you're doing it just to do it, you don't actually believe that these things can happen. Therefore, you are not connecting to that frequency where it already exists. So I want you to do something before you do your visualization. I want you to get excited. I want you, whether you turn on a song that pumps you up, dance around your kitchen or your living room, do something, go for a walk in nature, whatever you can do that's going to change you to be like, oh my God, thinking about me and my family, thinking about what my life is going to be looking like right now and thinking about what my life will look like when baby is here. Be careful you don't put a time frame on it, like saying things like when baby's here, because when you're in your visualization, this is already happening. This is already here. But I want to, before you start that visualization, I want you to get into that place of like, this is happening. Like, this is here. This is here. I get to connect and see it all happening. So, whatever you can do, I want you to do that. And that's how you protect your energy. And it also kind of goes into how is it limitless versus limited? If you were in your imagination and your visualization and you start to reason with things, it's now limited. When you are just there, untapped and excited and seeing it all happening, that is limitless. So, for example, if you wanted to pay for your fertility treatments in Ease and Flow, don't look at your physical bank account, because your physical bank account, for some, absolutely you can pay for your fertility treatments in Ease and Flow. And for a lot of people, no, you can't. Or maybe you know that you could pay for so many rounds, but then after that, it's like, I can't anymore. And there's so much uncertainty, especially if you're just starting fertility treatments, that fear can kind of unwind you out. And I suggest doing your own visualizations. I started listening to guided meditations and visualizations, and my perfectionist side really took over. And I worked myself completely out of that meditation. Yes, I kept it playing. But for example, like it would say, like, visualize yourself driving up to your dream home and seeing the emblem on your car. Like, what is your dream car? And pulling up to your driveway and seeing the front door and putting your hand on the front door and then walking in and smelling all the smells. And it was kind of going at that pace. And I was thinking, I don't know what my dream car looks like right now. Like, I just want like the mom van. But I was like, is that just like an A type goal versus a B or a C type goal? And a quick little thing, a side note, an A type goal is something that you already know how to do. A B type goal is something that you think you can do. And a C type goal is something that you have absolutely no idea how to do it, but you're doing everything you can to do it. And that part of that is your desire, your imagination, and your visualization. So when I would think like, okay, like, am I just settling for a mom van? And I thought, well, no, maybe I want like the Mercedes class of, a mom van, if you will, because I have a big family and I've wanted to have a big family. So again, I would start rationalizing, thinking like, is, a Kia versus a Mercedes or a Tesla versus, all the different types of cars. I'm not a car person, but you get the point. So I started rationalizing and I thought, I don't know what my dream home looks like. I could tell you I want an ensuite in my bathroom in my dream home. I could tell you I want to have so many bedrooms. I can tell you all these things. And as I was listening to this guided meditation, like I was lost because I didn't know what these things looked like. And the perfectionist side of me was like, okay, tonight when I have a moment or on my lunch break or whatever, I'm going to go onto Google or I'm going to go onto Pinterest or I'm going to search, different things. And it wasn't until later that someone had said to me, what if you try just, thinking what you would want right now, but know that you can always go bigger? Or think about a certain room in your house or relating it to fertility. When you think about like, what would it be like to go into a maternity store to buy maternity clothes? Something small that you'd be like, this feels amazing because it's something I've never done before. And as you start to see those visualizations, you can go bigger. There is no right or wrong way of doing it. And I think that's where the perfectionist side of me took over, whereas like, I need to have all these things done. So before I can do my visualization again, I have to know what this looks like. No, I created my own visualization by really knowing the things that I wanted. So I started my visualization with, going to my first ultrasound. If you've never seen what an ultrasound looks like, again, Google it, Google ultrasound. And then you can see that. You can close your eyes and see that. And, start out small too. If you can't, you know, if visualization is really tough for you, like it is for me, and if you can visualize right away, go for it. If you can find fertility meditations or visualizations that suit you, please go straight to do it. I choose to do my own just because for a while that was hard for me. I even in my book I wrote it. I started with something small to understand and build my ladder of belief of my visualization, because I could sit, I knew my desire to have a family, and I could sit and write things, like I would love to have an ensuite. I would love, this is what I'd love my nursery to look like. This is what I would love, my day to be like with my twins at home and yada, yada, yada. So I could write all these things out, but actually seeing it was difficult for me. So I started small. Like I took a piece of fruit that I knew was in my kitchen, but I wasn't sitting in my kitchen and I wasn't actually looking at it. So let's take an orange or a lemon. See yourself walking into your kitchen, picking out that lemon. See yourself cutting it on a cutting board, and do it slower. I'm not trying to do a guided meditation here or visualization. But when you see yourself, like your hands slicing that lemon, get to the point that you can start to see like where it sprays a little bit, you'll start to salivate. And that means you are now very much in your visualization, because you aren't actually touching the lemon, you aren't actually slicing it, but you can smell it, you can feel it, and you can start to see this even though you're not doing that. And that right there creates a ladder of belief of like, okay, well, if I can do this, then I can do the next thing. I've also talked about recalling your memories, because that is something that you've already done, so you know what that looks like. Once you start getting really good at this, do it as much as you possibly can. But again, making sure that it's limitless versus limited. So, recap, I want you to get excited about doing this. So, every time, um, especially if I had a tough day at work, or maybe I just heard some news on my fertility journey that I didn't enjoy or that I didn't expect or definitely wasn't part of the plan. I obviously was in a lower vibration. I would tell myself, okay, what do I want? What do I really want right now? I would connect to seeing myself with my twins. And then when I was um, in my second pregnancy, I saw myself holding my son. I didn't visualize what he looked like because I had no idea what my son would look like. And for me, I was like, I knew he had blonde hair and blue eyes. That was just something I always wanted, because that was what my son looked like, or my husband looked like as a baby. And I really just wanted him to have blonde hair and blue eyes. Would have absolutely been okay if he didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes. But that's what I would see myself. I would just like see myself seeing like his blonde hair and these beautiful blue eyes looking up at me. And I was in a rocking chair, and I would sit and I would visualize these things. But like I said, I would do something to get me pumped up, because I'm like, you know what? The more I'm in my visualization, the more I'm connecting to my son, and the more I'm going to bring him here right now. But when I'm in my visualization, I know he's already here because I'm staring at him and I'm holding him. So I would get excited and I would sit in my rocking chair and I would be looking at him and I would be singing him songs. And, I could see myself putting him in his car seat and dropping my twins off at school. And before my last son was here, I could picture dropping my stepdaughters off at school and packing up my twins in their car seats, putting them in our van, sending the kids off with big smiley faces. Like that's how detailed I got into my visualizations. And I promise you, I started out small. I started out slicing that lemon or that orange. I love oranges. So that for me, I started out small and got to the point where I could see myself putting like my son and my daughter in their car seats and putting them in the van and getting my three stepdaughters to school. And I could see this all before this even happened. But I got myself into that excitedness of I'm connecting this because I want this so, so bad. And that I didn't allow my mind to go to places of, like, for example, if you want twins and you would be absolutely fine with one baby, just like I said, I wanted my son blonde hair, blue eyes. I would have been happy if he had jet black hair and the darkest brown eyes you can have. I would be totally fine with that. But if you start to rationalize with it while you're in your visualization saying, but like, well, I'd still be okay with one, or I'd still be okay with this color of hair or this color of eyes, you're now limiting. Go for what it is that you want and focus on just that. You aren't sending to the universe, if you can only give me this. No. Um, but I want you to think about all the money that you can have. I want you to think about what your dream life would look like. Um, when I really started studying this, I thought, you know what? I want to be able to travel with my husband, with the kids and without the kids. And I can tell you, the first time I traveled without my twins, they were 3. Um, and I cried. I cried a lot. And I was like, how do people leave their kids? Anyway, I know that's probably, I'm just sharing with you the things that I really wanted to do. I really wanted to connect with my husband. I wanted to be able to travel. So one of the things I thought is I want to have a nanny that loves my kids as much as I love my kids. So that if my husband and I wanted to go away for a weekend when the kids were older, or that if we did family vacations, we could bring our nanny with us, that she could help with the kids too. Like if once they were all in bed, someone was there to stay with them and my husband and I could go for a late dinner or something. They're like, I know I'm just throwing things out there, but these were things that I started to write and desire. Like if I had all the money that I really wanted, I would love a house cleaner. I would love a nanny. I would love a private chef that made all of these meals. And there is nothing wrong with thinking about all the things that you love and desire. As soon as you start to say, but the world is in a certain state right now, or our finances will never allow this, you are limiting where your visualization and your imagination can go. Or maybe you're even limiting your desire, saying that because of our income, we could probably only ever afford one baby. So that's what I want. Go for it all. There is a frequency of $1 and there's a frequency for $1,000,000. So connect to that frequency. There's a frequency of having one baby versus having multiple babies. There is a frequency for everything. So tune into the one that you want. Don't hold fear. Don't hold guilt. Just really connect. Really, really, really connect with what you would love. And don't allow your physical bank account or your physical environment or your job or family or anything to influence what you want, or even your religion. I want you to really connect with, if you had all the time in the world, all the money in the world, no judgments, what would your life look like? Connect with that. Really connect with that. And that's why I say that protect your energy, be in a really happy, grateful, good mood when you do your visualizations. Don't be in this place where you're just ticking it off. And I want you to make sure that it's limitless, where you could see yourself with $1,000,000 if that's something that you wanted. You could see yourself with twins if that's something that you wanted. You could see yourself in a mansion, or maybe, you know what? Maybe you're just fine with owning your own home because you rent right now. Once you get to where you want, it's okay to want more. But what would be something that would excite you so much? Maybe it's to have a pool in your background, in your backyard. Maybe, I can't speak for everyone. There's like so many thoughts going on in my head right now of all the things that I could throw out there. But I want to relate to every single person as much as I can. So make sure that when you are thinking about your desires and you're being in your imagination and visualizing it, that you don't stop yourself by listening to a guided meditation or visualization that, like me, your perfectionism comes in and you stop yourself completely because you're like, I don't know this, I don't know that. Anything is better than nothing. So I stopped listening, like I mentioned, I stopped listening to guided visualizations and I started creating my own. I started out small and made it to the point of where it is today. So I did start seeing myself with a growing belly. I did start seeing myself at ultrasound appointments and doing our gender reveal and doing our pregnancy announcement. I did start seeing all of these things. And then I got to the point where I saw myself holding my babies, like I mentioned, and putting them in our van and taking my stepdaughters to school. I started seeing all of that. I started seeing what their nursery looked like. And, when I looked at things, like I don't know if I mentioned this in another podcast episode or not, but when I was just like, I was on Pinterest and I was like, oh, I really love that crib. And I would click on it. I was like, $5,000 for a crib. That's insane. I was like, no, but I still put it on a vision board and I still saw myself with putting my babies in those cribs. I found one that looked just like it at Toys R Us, which is here in Canada, and I bought it on a Boxing Day sale. Like, it was super cheap. Anyway, my point is, I created my dream nursery on the budget that I actually did have, and it almost looked like everything that I had on my vision board. I got excited about going into maternity clothing stores, like, and I had never done that before. So this is what I mean when I say I allowed myself to go to where I wanted. And as I started seeing these things, I allowed myself to go bigger. I didn't want to limit myself to what my bank account told me that I could have. That's why I put the $5,000 crib on my vision board. And that's why I visualized it, because, I wanted to have all of these things and I found a way for them to come to me. But I also manifested my twins. I wanted to have an 18-month maternity leave. In 2014, here in Canada, that did not exist. I got 18 months. Not exactly the way I envisioned, but the long and the short of it is, because my twins were in the hospital for 6 weeks, they extended my maternity leave. And again, I don't want to digress. I don't want to go into all the different things, but they were able to extend my maternity leave because of my hospital stay and different things like that. But I was literally the way everything unfolded, not exactly the way I envisioned, but I ended up getting 18 months on maternity leave, which was incredible. All ways that I would have never conceived, but I focused on 18 months. I focused on all of these things and seeing it happening, and the universe delivered in its own way, but everything that I asked for. That's why I want to make sure that to have it limitless versus limited. Don't live within your resources when you're designing your nursery, or you're designing your maternity clothes, or you're designing what your life looks like. Because if you think like, I've got 2 babies, so I can't do a mom and baby group because I don't have someone to hold my baby. Trust me, you can go to mom and baby groups. I did it. But yes, I did hold a belief for a while that I had 2 babies. How do I go to mom and baby groups? I lived in fear for a while. And I can't get that time back. So that's why I really want you, go big. Go as big as you possibly want and reimagine as much as you want. Because if it doesn't feel right, or you think, you know what, like now that I've been visualizing for a while what this dream bathroom looks like, or this dream nursery looks like, or my perfect vehicle that holds all my children in it. Maybe you love it and you're like, yeah, I'm going to upgrade. I really like this model. Just start. Starting is better than nothing. So when I said like fully, like I stopped doing visualizations for a while because I thought I had to have all the moving parts. I thought I needed to know what my dream home looked like, my dream nursery, all the things that I didn't know what I wanted to look like. So I stopped doing them. And then I was just like, no, I really want to do this. I really want to start seeing this. I really want to start seeing myself and feeling myself so my body can actually feel that feeling of holding my babies. And I would visualize holding both my babies on my chest. I visualized that at my birth. I visualized all of those things. And it came true. It came true. So when you really connect to your desire, you get super creative, super playful, super joyful in your imagination and start seeing it. And it's okay to start out small. And when I say protect your energy, do something that's going to get you so damn excited. Maybe you can instantly flip into your excitedness because you're like, oh my God, I get to see my baby in my dreams. I get to see my baby in my visualization. I get to do this. That might be enough to shift you into it. But depending on your emotional impacts based on your journey and everything that you've gone through, maybe that's something that you can't do. So start with something small of like going into a maternity store, or what can you do to start building that ladder of belief, but how can you start seeing it? If you have troubles with visualizations and you start thinking, this isn't perfect, I can't do this, tell yourself it doesn't need to be perfect. As you develop your visualization, you can go bigger and get better. So maybe you've spent time with your desire of your family, you've spent time in what your life is going to look like in your imagination, and maybe your visualization right now is just cutting that lemon. And then you think, okay, well, I've cut the lemon, so what else can I do? What else can I do? And I don't want this to feel like work for you. I want this to be something that you're so excited for. I want this to be something that you're like, this is like my reality as much as I want to make it. Because, you know, the reality is in your physical world, when you hear news you didn't want to from your fertility doctor, or you look in your bank account and it's not what you want it to be, maybe your job isn't supporting, your schedule of being back and forth between fertility appointments. Don't allow that to deter you. The more you spend time in your imagination and connecting to your desire and and visualizing it, the universe, you've connected to that frequency, the universe is going to listen and start responding. When you're in that place of a limited belief or a limited place, that's how the universe is going to respond. Don't pay attention to what your physical 3D world is telling you. Focus on what it is that you want. Focus on seeing it happening, and the universe will conspire in its limitless possibilities of how things can happen. We have two lanes, the universe lane and our lane. And when I say this, I mean stay in your own lane by connecting, doing your three things. Connect to your desire. Use your imagination, be super creative. And if you're not creative, build that ladder of belief. Do whatever you can, start small to get you big. And if you can go right there, you're super creative already, amazing. I want you to be in that place where it feels so good, because I can tell you, I've had, being told that my cycle was going to be canceled. I've had a cycle canceled. I've had a lot of things. And if I paid attention in many ways, outcomes would have been very, very, very different. I asked questions that just randomly popped up into my mind that literally just poof. And I thought, well, what about this? And the universe can conspire. I never would have imagined having an 18-month maternity leave. That was not something possible. And our finances would not have ever supported an extra 6 months off of work, of no pay. So I'm telling you, the universe has limitless and infinite ways of bringing things to you. And when I say you have two lanes, your lane is connecting. The universe, let them do. Stop controlling, stop paying attention to your environment, stop paying attention to all those things that aren't serving you. So the universe can stay in its lane and conspire to give you everything that you desire. But the more you try and control it, the more you try and say, but I can't because of this or XYZ, you've moved into the universe's lane and it's now swerving around and it can't get to you as fast as you want it to. So I'm telling you, please, please, please get yourself in a very excited place. Really create that ladder of belief for you so that you can connect on that frequency of where everything already exists. So connect to your desire of what does your family look like? Be in your imagination and get as creative as you want. What would the perfect day in a life of you look like? What are you surrounded with? Who are the people you're surrounded with? Every single detail. Like when I thought of a nanny, I don't care what my nanny looks like, but I really thought of, oh my goodness, how amazing would it love to have someone that is in my home that when I'm with my clients or I'm doing something else, I can say, hey, can you go pick up the kids for me? Or my husband and I want to go out on a date tonight. Would you be able to watch the kids and know that my kids are loved and taken care of and they feel supported and they're actually really excited for the nanny to come? Those are things that I visualize. Those are things that I imagine. And when I think of like, my big C type goal, like if I could have it all, what does that look like? I get so excited. My visualizations look very different now than what they did when I was trying to create my family. Now that I have my family, I can go bigger and better, but these tools apply to any area of your life. And they just keep growing and evolving as you grow and as you evolve. So I hope that this, more than anything, has made you excited. And I want you to know that the visualizing part is what seals the deal of connecting to your desire and using your creative imagination and now seeing it on the screen of your mind. So when you close your eyes and you get your visualizations to the point that you can see this as if you were watching a movie, you're golden. You are golden. And don't defeat yourself. Don't, if it's not perfect or your perfectionist side steps in, say move on over. I don't have time for you. Anything is better than nothing right now, but you are going to get you're going to get to the point where your visualizations are so magnificent and so crystal clear. You will get there. And don't worry about the time frame. Don't worry if you're doing it right or wrong. None of that matters. What matters is the fact that you've connected and that you're seeing it and that you're excited about something and that feeling, because like a broken record, feeling is the secret. So if you instantly feel, if you're thinking about manifesting money or manifesting your baby or babies, you're manifesting a car or a dream job or whatever, and you start to think, yeah, but that can't happen, you've limited your limitless options that are available to you. And I just want you to connect. I just want you to feel love and joy. And my goodness, visualization just lights me up, which is something I used to struggle with. And now I think, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do my visualizations in the morning and at night, because this is where I'm thriving. Yes, I am thriving in my physical 3D world. I wasn't always. I was not always. And I still have days where I'm just like, whew, I'm really excited to get to my visualizations tonight because I want to get back to where I want to be. And I want to see and I want to help and I want to do all the things that I want to do. So without continuing on and going on many other tangents that I know I could go on, I hope you truly have such an amazing day and that you get so excited to connect to your desires, your imaginations, and then see it all happen in your visualizations. Have an amazing day. If you found this helpful or know anyone that needs to hear this, please share. And don't forget to leave a review and subscribe. In love and gratitude, Jessica.